Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all in the following lecture of surgery. I am Dr. Ghazi Mohammad Zakir Hussain, Associate Professor Surgery, Bosundara Ad-Din Medical College Hospital. Now we shall discuss important topics of surgery, that is about scrotal swelling. Scrotal swelling may be hydrocele, hematocele, varicocele, epididymal cysts, torsion of the testes and testicular tumor. In consistency, it may be cystic or solid, or it may not be cystic or solid, but nothing of them. Cystic swelling may be due to hydrocele, epididymal cyst, hematocele. Solid swelling is due to testicular tumor. It may be benign or malignant. When it is neither solid or cystic, then it is due to varicocele and hernia. Now, today we shall discuss more about hernia. Now, what is the definition of hernia? A hernia is a protrusion of a viscous or part of a viscous through abnormal opening in the wall of its containing cavity. It is commonly used as described as the weakness of the anterior abdominal wall. General features common to all hernia. What is the etiology of hernia? Regarding etiology, most common is weakness in the anterior abdominal wall or a preformed sac. Any condition that raises the intra-abdominal pressure, such as coughing, straining due to constipation and perspiration, obesity, intra-abdominal malignancy and physiological condition known as pregnancy. All of these conditions may give rise to raised intra-abdominal pressure, which predisposes to hernia. There may be family history of hernia. There may be hernia raised intra-abdominal pressure due to ascites, prolonged standing position, that is the uprighting position, congenital connective tissue disorder, defective collagen synthesis, previous right lower quadrant incision. This may be cause of etiology of hernia. What is the composition of hernia? Hernia has three composition, that is the sac of the hernia, covering of the hernial sac and its content. Now, what is the classification of hernia according to the site of occurrence in the anterior abdominal wall? It may be divided into epigastric hernia, para-umbilical hernia, when the hernia occurs between the epigastric to the umbilical region. Then through the umbilicus it is known as umbilical hernia. When it is occurs through the lumbar triangle, it is known as the lumbar hernia. When it is occurs between the muscles, that is the Spegelian hernia. When it occurs into the groin, that is the groin hernia. Groin hernia are of two types, femoral hernia and inguinal hernia. Today we are more concerned about the groin hernia. I already said that groin hernia are of two types, inguinal hernia and femoral hernia. For our students, it is very important to know about the inguinal hernia. Before discussing the inguinal hernia, we have to know properly the anatomy of the inguinal region. The inguinal hernia occurs through the inguinal region. The anatomy of the inguinal hernia is, the inguinal hernia, there is a superficial inguinal ring. It is a triangular aperture in the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle just above the pubic tubercle. It lies 2 cm above the pubic tubercle. Deep inguinal ring, it is a U-shaped defect in the fascia transversalis. It is about 2 cm above the mid-inguinal point, that is the midway between the anterior superior iliac spine and the pubic tubercle. The competency of the deep inguinal ring depends on the integrity of this fascia. Where the integrity of this fascia transversalis is lost, it may cause inguinal hernia. Inguinal canal. It is a canal or tubular aperture lies between the deep inguinal ring and to the superficial inguinal ring. It is about 3 to 4 centimeter long. It is directed downwards and medially from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. Anterior boundary, external oblique aponeurosis muscle. Posteriorly, it is bounded by the fascia transversalis. Superficial superior wall is formed by the conjoint tendon, that is the conjoint muscle, that is the arch fiber of the internal oblique and transversus oblique muscle, and inferior wall is formed by the inguinal ligament. The content of the inguinal canal is the spermatic cord in male. In case of female, it is the round ligament of the uterus and ilioinguinal nerve, genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve. Now, what is the types of inguinal hernia? Inguinal hernia may be indirect inguinal hernia and it may be direct inguinal hernia. Indirect inguinal hernia, when the hernial sac travels through the inguinal canal, that is the deep inguinal ring to the inguinal canal and emerges through the superficial inguinal ring, then it is known as indirect inguinal hernia. The sac descends downwards through the lateral side of the inferior epigastric vessels, that is the lateral side of the inferior epigastric vessels. Most common form of hernia is the younger people, and adult that is the direct inguinal hernia. What is the causes of causation of indirect inguinal hernia? That is the failure of closure of the processus vaginalis is the most common cause of development of inguinal hernia, and it is seen that the right sided interinguinal hernia is more common than the left sided due to later descent of the testis of the right side from the abdomen, from where it is developed. Types of indirect inguinal hernia according to the extent of the sac, it may be divided into bobonocele, funicular and complete. Bobonocele is the hernia when the hernial sac is limited up to the inguinal canal. When the sac lies within the inguinal canal, that is known as bobonocele. Funicular, when the processus vaginalis is closed just above the epididymis, then it is known as funicular. The content of the sac can be felt separately from the testis, which lies below the hernia sac. And when it is not complete, when the sac extends up to the bottom of the scrotum, then it is known as complete inguinal hernia. This is the anatomical location according to the classification, according to the location or extension of the hernial sac. It comes direct inguinal hernia. The hernia comes directly forwards through the posterior wall of the inguinal canal. The sac emerges medial to the inferior epigastric vessel. It is more common in adult, accounts for 35% of the inguinal hernia. Women particularly never developed direct inguinal hernia. It most commonly develops in the male. Direct inguinal hernia is always acquired. All of you know that indirect inguinal hernia may be congenital due to failure of closure of the processus vaginalis. Indirect inguinal hernia may develop, but direct inguinal hernia never acquired, never congenital, but it is always acquired. The sac passes through the weakness of the fascia transversalis, that is posterior wall of the inguinal canal. Often the patient has a poor lower abdominal musculature, and patient have the feature of raised interabdominal pressure such as bronchitis, cough, constipation and difficulty in micturition. Now, hernia sac, or in case of direct inguinal hernia, never attain a big size. It descends up to the root of the scrotum, not always to the bottom of the scrotum. Now we have to differentiate the direct inguinal hernia from the indirect inguinal hernia. Direct inguinal hernia, predisposing factor, weakness of the anterior abdominal wall in the inguinal region. Indirect inguinal hernia, predisposing factor is persistence of the process vaginalis, and great majority of the cases it is less. Direct inguinal hernia is less common, indirect inguinal hernia is more common. The sac of the direct inguinal hernia descend downwards from through the posterior wall of the inguinal canal, and in case of indirect inguinal hernia, the sac descend down through lateral to the inferior epigastric vessel. Lateral to the inferior epigastric vessel. Now we shall evaluate the patient from the history and clinical examination. Regarding demographic presentation of the patient, age of the patient. In case of indirect inguinal hernia, patient may present from the birth, and patient are younger age group, but direct inguinal hernia patient is always older age group. It is more common in male than the female. Inguinal hernia is more common in the male than female. Now the presentation, there is a bulging in the inguinal region. We have to know when the bulging occur, where the bulging occur, it is in the right side or in the left side, or how the bulging occur. Bulging occur during a straining or coughing or during a standing position. Activities, we have to know the which activity worsens the patient or who patient become better, such as if patient is prolonged standing position, this condition is worsening, but when patient lies down on the bed, patient feels better. Inguinal hernia may be present with mere discomfort in the inguinal region, or it may present with the pain in the inguinal region. When the patient is in prolonged standing position, then the pain begins. Other the patient may give history of obstruction of the obstructive feature, obstruction of the bowel, such as sign symptom of obstruction, that is the pain, vomiting, constipation and abdominal distension. When the content intestine, then it is prolongedly obstructed, then patient may present with features of intestinal obstruction. Patient may give history of previous surgery in the abdomen, such as appendicectomy. We give right sided incision in the McBurney's point, or vertebral remedial incision may damage the nerve that may cause the hernia. We have to review the causes of raised interabdominal pressure, such as chronic cough, constipation and straining at micturition. Now we have to clinically examine the patient, that is the inspection of the patient, that is we have to examine the patient in standing position, later on in lying position or supine position. During inspection we have to expose the patient at least umbilicus to the mid thigh, We have to inspect there is a scar present or not, location of the bulging in the right side or left side, what is the size of the swelling or bulging, or whether it is increase or decrease in straining or not, whether it is increase in standing or decrease in lying position or not, what is the size of the swelling. On palpation, we have to palpate it by manually. On a standing position, if patient stands, we have to see that gate above the swelling is positive or not. In case of hernia, gate above the swelling is negative. In case of hernia, gate above the swelling is negative, but in scrotal swelling, hydrocele, hematocele, it is gate above the swelling is positive. What is the differential diagnosis of hernia? It may be vaginal hydrocele and the encysted hydrocele of the cord, it may be spermatocele, it may be femoral hernia, or it may be incompletely descended testis in the inguinal canal or lipoma of the cord. In case of female, differential diagnosis is hydrocele of the canal of neck and femoral hernia. What is the investigation we have to do for the diagnosis? No investigation is necessary for the diagnosis of hernia. When we know that the hernia content is reducible, it is the confirmatory diagnosis, confirmatory clinical test that the patient having hernia. When the hernia is reducible, the swelling is reducible, it is confirmed that the swelling is hernia. But in case of sometimes in fatty person, we have to differentiate it from others, like by investigation we can do for ultrasonography. Sometimes MRI or CT scan may necessary for the confirmation of diagnosis of hernia. That is the management of inguinal hernia, non-operative management and operative management. Non-operative management, watchful watching of the patient. In case of baby, if baby birth with the hernia, that is the congenital hernia, congenitally processus vaginalis is open, but it may be processus vaginalis may be closed over a time. We have to wait for a few months and we have to reassure the parents that it may spontaneously may correct the hernia, or we have to counsel the patient parents, and other non-operative measures, that is the wearing of truss like underwear that support the inguinal region. They will maintain the it reduced form and prevent further enlargement of the hernia. Operative treatment, operation for the inguinal hernia, operation is the treatment of choice. It is the most commonly we do in case of babies that up to the age of 14 we do herniotomy. Herniotomy includes identification of the sac, separation of the sac from the surrounding structure, reduction of any content, ligation of the neck, ligation at the neck, and excision of the remainder part of the hernial sac is known as herniotomy. Another is known as hernio-raphy, that is herniotomy with a strengthening of the posterior wall, and another now commonly done, that is the hernioplasty, that is the reconstruction of the posterior wall of the hernia by biological material such as fascia lata or Prolene mesh. Now, what is the complication of a repair of inguinal hernia? That is, it may be recur, chronic abdominal growing pain, numbness, or loss of sensation at the bottom of the root of the penis and base of the scrotum, and there may be neuropathic pain due to ligation of the nerves such as iliohypogastric ilioinguinal nerve. It may be ligated during the procedure and there may produce numbness. There may be hematoma, infection, seroma formation, infertility if you injured the vas deferens, or due to ischemic orchitis, and immediately post-operative period urinary retention. This is all about the management of inguinal hernia. I thank you all.